Okay, so we're continuing Rebbe's talk from Shabbos Mevorchim Rebbe from the year Tafshin Yud 1950. We're holding Sifhei. The Rebbe's talking about Elul and Cheshbon Nefesh, the self-evaluation we have to make in the month of El. Ha'amul Le'il, this is what we said before, Shazman L'Cheshbon Nefesh B'Chodesh El, that the person has to know that everything has its appropriate time, i.e., including making a self-evaluation. The Cheshbon Nefesh's time is in Elul, like a business person has their set times when they do general evaluation of the health of the company. But on the contrary, outside of Elul, aside for specific investigations and calculations to know what to do right now, but in general, to just do and see if what you're doing makes sense, that kind of evaluation you push off to later, and just engage yourself in Torah study and teaching Torah and doing mitzvahs without any evaluate calculations. No cheshbonis, no calculations. This goes along with what we learned in the previous gathering, which is the Farbrengen. We spoke about it, and I believe it was the Chafov one that we learned. Yes, that a person should also learn Torah in any situation. Even if you have doubt in the existence of God, that shouldn't stop you from learning Torah. A person shouldn't say, well, let me first get clear if there is a God before I start learning his Torah. No, you just learn. Because the rule is that the luminary that's in the Torah, the more is going to bring a person back. And something's emes, something is true versus something that it's made up. So there is a more there. There's an emes there. The emes is that's the more. That's the essential truth, the essential luminary that's within Torah mitzvahs, because it's connected to Elikim emes, God that's true. And therefore it's going to be truthful and bring the truth out within the person and bring that person back to good. It's if you can do something that's made up, so if you can do something that's not real, so then there's no real connection between the person and the study. But when the person has a little bit of God in them, there's a God in Torah. So then that will connect and they'll bring a person back. I've asked the question, Ma'am Rizal, this that's brought down. What does it mean that the luminary will bring a person back? Ma'am Rizal, it's seemingly contrary to what we've learned in other places that's brought down from our rabbis, as brought down in Yud Tammuz. If a person is not worthy of studying Torah, the Torah itself could become like a poison, a deathly poison. So which one is it? If you say that person means, there we were speaking about where a person uses Torah as a tool for ego or destruction or hurt, showing how you know how to learn better or how that person doesn't know how to learn, or using it to manipulate halacha. As Barb is, so the answer is. What the Alter Rebbe explains the laws of studying Torah. Shekinira mi'atoichen v'hasignon harihu memutza ben hashulchan aruch shapi nigla l'hasidish shapi hakabbalah. The Rebbe says here, a side note, that the Hilchos Talmud Torah, that it's kind of on a league of its own when it comes to the Shulchan Aruch, because the Alter Rebbe brought the Shulchan Aruch strictly halacha, and their siddur was according to Kabbalistics. Therefore, we'll find contradictions to what the Rebbe writes in the Shulchan Aruch and what he writes in the siddur, because in the Shulchan Aruch is primarily based on law and meaning revealed parts of Torah. The siddur is based on the Kabbalistic parts of Torah. So therefore, and a chassid that goes according to, first of all, the final word is always the siddur. And the Rebbe says Hilchos Talmud Torah, which again, the Gra saw the Hilchos Talmud Torah, and he almost came a chassid from that. That's my addition. Is because he was so overwhelmed with the teachings of the Alter Rebbe. Is like a kind of a middle between the halacha of the Shulchan Aruch and the Kabbalistic guidance of the laws, because the Siddur also it's about laws, but it's laws based on Kabbalah. For instance, you're having a disagreement in the Alter Rebbe brings down Kota Torah. According to Shulchan Aruch, you're supposed to put the chalas the right one on top of the left. According to Kabbalah, because according to Kisferi, you put them side by side. Why? Because it's the perspective of Kabbalah and Halach. So the Rebbe says like this: Lei Amru Chacham, the Alter Rebbe writes in Shulchan Aruch as follows, in Hilchos Talmud Torah, the laws of studying Torah. Lei Amru Chacham, Lo'el Mi'asik Adam Torah Mitzvahs Afilu Shelo Lishma אלא כשמקיים המצווה שלהם בתורה רק שאין אלוהים דמקיים לשם שמיים אל מירס העונש. When does it mean that a person should always study Torah even for the wrong reasons, shlai lishma, not for the right reasons? It's only if the person is fulfilling the mitzvahs and studying Torah, but the only thing is that they're not doing it for the right reasons. It's not for Hashem Shemaim, not for the sake of heaven, because either they're scared of the punishment, not like a child punishment. The person is scared. If I don't do this, God's going to punish me. He's not going to bless me. He's not going to give me love. Or you want the reward. But if you're just going to learn and you have no plans to do it, and you call the Rashav, Allah Amrakasim, that's when the verse says, to the wicked person. Amar Alikim, God says, why are you studying my Torah? This person that the rabbis have added, and the Torah becomes to this person a poison. And then the other bad. Another opinion. Nevertheless, that even if you're seemingly, the Rebbe is adding against what he just said, that even if it's shaloi lishma, you should still learn it. Now, it doesn't mean that yeshayim usually means a second opinion. It's a contradiction because even in the first opinion, he says you should learn lishma, shaloi lishma, which is as long as there's some sort of doing involved, just that you're doing it for the wrong reasons, or learning to know what to do for the wrong reasons. But so seemingly you could say it's not even a contradiction. Then you can come to the Shema. Lilmud means you'll end up learning to do. Because the source of life, the luminaries, and bring the person back. Even if you leave me, but you didn't keep my Torah. It's brought down. I wish that if you're going to leave me, but nevertheless you're going to keep my Torah. Because the luminary will bring a person back. And he finishes off in the Sicha Omer. That's brought down in the books of Kabbalah. That all the Torah mitzvahs that person does, even if they're wicked or while they're wicked, even though at the time you're adding to negativity, you're giving sources to negative powers. But when you do tshuva, whether it's in this lifetime or in a reincarnation, there's no one's get pushed aside. Eventually you're going to do tshuva. And everything that goes back, even what you've studied in a different lifetime, goes back to kedusha. Therefore, you should never stop learning Torah. Kloimer means the Rebbe says. Means even about the person, the Yeshamar has to be adding. So it's adding that even what we said in the first opinion, that you shouldn't study Torah because then you're studying Torah. It has nothing to do with doing it. It's just about either a study or to use it to be negative or to manipulate Torah. It ends up becoming a poison. But then they still learn because eventually you're going to do tshuva and then you're going to rectify all that as well. Even though you're adding negative at the time, because the source of life is going to bring you back. The Rebbe adds, when we talk about what's the real ma'or that's in Torah, that's Pnimis Torah, that's Chassidus. And here the Rebbe is going to discuss. Like we said before, Shenigla the Torah, here are the Torah. The revealed parts of Torah is the light of Torah. Well, Pnimis Torah and the inner parts of Torah, which is Chassidus, it's more the Torah is the luminary. That's Leinu. And the Rebbe says, when we're talking about us Chassidim, it's not just any Chassidus, it's the Chassidus, the more Pnimis Torah Shur Rebbe, it's the Rebbe that's within every, that the Rebbe within, our Rebbe and the Rebbe within us is what's going to bring us, bring us back. We're moving, therefore the Rebbe says, from this is understood. Shekol Zman and B'chol Maimon the Massive Tzarech Lilmoid Astaris Achsidus Shal Rebbe. No matter what your situation is, no matter where you're holding, no matter what your Shmir Torah mitzvah is, no matter what your Chassidishkeit is, no matter if you're keeping Shabbos or not, or keeping kosher or not, always have to learn the Rebbe's Chassidus. And you don't have to always sit there and make the cheshbon. That's what the Rebbe is saying. El is the time for cheshbon and nefesh. But outside of El, you always have to do. You don't always have to say, 1 second, I know what I just did 5 minutes ago. I know what I did 10 minutes ago. I know what I did last night. Maybe it's not appropriate for me to learn the Rebbe's Torah. See it halter by holding there. No matter how low you are. About the more, which is the Rebbe's Chassidus, because Al Chassid, again, it's not just the ideas that the Rebbe teaches you, but the Rebbe puts himself in it, and the Rebbe is the person who's our connection to Hashem. Therefore, the more that's in the Rebbe's Chassidus, Machzir Mutav, brings a person back. Shesayfa, eventually, last is true, you will do tshuva, begilgul zag, begilgul acher. In this lifetime, when the reincarnation, the Rebbe used to always say, afterwards, I don't know if he's going to say it soon, I forget, yes, you're going to do tshuva in this lifetime or another lifetime. But why wait? Means we get it, you have to learn Chassidus, and we get it, you have to connect that. But why wait? So it's not a chokhmah. You say, I'm going to sit there, on Shabbos, smoking a cigarette, God forbid, and then there was Chassidus, because eventually I'm going to come back. Why wait? Because no one's going to be pushed aside. Not only will you cleanse yourself from your various types of sins, even the Torah that you did bring down, and you did bring it down. When you're going to eventually do tshuva, goes up, and therefore counts as a schus. A pizza there is based on this. We could understand when what the Friedrich Rebbe says. He talked about the difference of different types of chassidim. Aside from the fact that there's a difference between someone who's a chassid and someone who's not a chassid, the Rebbe talked about different types of chassidim. Ben Chassidei Poland, the chassidim from the Polish Chassidus, the Chassidei Chabad Chassidus Chabad. Okay, just a footnote. When we say Polish Chassidus, it's not just Polish, it's chassidim from any kind of Ukrainian Chassidus, Hungarian Chassidus. It means any kind of Chassidus that's not Chassidus Chabad. Shechassidei Poland yesh them olam hazeh, hein olam hazeh, hein olam haba. The Friedrich Rebbe talks about that a Polish Chassidus, they have both worlds. They have this world and the next world. Masheng Chassidei Chabad, when it comes to Chabad, then oiskiris in hein olam hazeh, olam haba. They get both. They don't have any world. The Rebbe doesn't explain. It means Friedrich Rebbe says you want currency as far as what you can take home. As far as chitzonius, sure you can have olam hazeh in this world because your Rebbe is going to be brachas. You can have olam haba because your Rebbe is going to take care of you. And Chassidus Chabad because he wants panemius. The Rebbe wants essence. The Rebbe wants the truth. The Rebbe wants. The Rebbe, like the Friedrich Rebbe writes, if the Alter Rebbe wouldn't have said the word emes, he would have had another 50,000 Chassidim. And because the Chassidus, the Chabad demands that it should be avodas atzmai, so therefore you don't get the gashmis and you don't get the ruchnis, but you get the essence. But you get the essence, not chitzonis, it's pneumius. And nothing of pneumius is worth more than everything of chitzonis. Kasher Chassid Chassid poil nice in the rabbis. Now the rabbis explain. When a Polish chassid goes to his or her Rebbe, as I had Torah, he be kitzer. He doesn't have to worry. The Rebbe's not going to set a mimer for so the Rebbe would say mimer for 8 hours. He's going to say a short word. The Torah is short. The shirayim is better, and there's a lot of leftovers. Means the shirayim of the yichap, the gashmi, is the leftover, the food from the farbrengen by the Polish chassidim. It's a big deal. That's going to give you who knows what. Befrat beyond, especially Yom Tov, there's a lot of shirayim. Yeshem b'ribui, there's a lot. The chol hasudas in all the meals, you could chap shirayim from the Rebbe. And then everyone's happy. You had a short Torah, so it's not too. You don't have to concentrate too hard. You grab shirayim, and now you're going to go dance. And you're happy. It's perfect, perfect world. The base before you go home, right? Nichnas the Rebbe. You go into the Rebbe. Means you publish your Rebbe. Again, we're not nothing negative, but it was just we're learning what the Rebbe is describing, and this is from the teachings of Friedrich Rebbe. Again, this is the early years is raw. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. But that's the way it is. And by me, it's take it because it's emes. When you go into the Rebbe to leave part of Mimenu, to leave him, and you're asking for his blessing, everything you need. You're not shameful. You're not you say, it's not appropriate to ask for Gashmis. You ask for everything. Give me the business, give me the Mahnasa, give me the Nachal children. My daughter's in Shidduchim, my son's in Shidduchim, whatever. Avur Bas Muvugeres, you have an older daughter. Avur Parnasa, older daughter meaning she needs a Shidduch. You need Parnasa. But Rebbe Maftichla, and the Rebbe's a tzaddik. And when the Rebbe's a tzaddik, he promises it happens, not fake. When he comes home, and he tells his wife, who let him go to to the Rebbe for Yom Tov, ala bakoshes, everything he asked for, brachas and all the great blessings he got. She kivim a Rebbe. Hari gam he is simcha minisiyas Rebbe. She's excited too. It's beneficial to her. She's cares about. She has to take care of the house. The Rebbe said you can have parnasa. The Rebbe says the girls are gonna get married. She's excited. She writes and say the Rebbe when he wants to go the next year, the next time he goes to the Rebbe, she has an incentive. You say yes, biyade. There's a shnais might say she makes some snacks and she makes some food for the way, because for her this is he represents the interest in, as far as she's concerned, of the whole family. Kletzlach mit herring, all kind of good foods, herring and crackers. The kama prutis avonisia, and she has some extra change. She gives him so he should have some pocket money. Therefore, he has everything he wants. So he has this world. He has this world. Why? Because he goes to the Rebbe. It's fun to go to the Rebbe. It's exciting. He dances. He hears a word of Torah, grabs Shra, and gets brachas, and he gets brachas, and they happen. His wife is happy, so Shalbais is happy. So everything, life in this world is great. And after 120 years, when he passes away, he comes to the world of heaven. He goes to the world of Emes. And then he has to go to the court. He has to give an accounting of his life. Was herzig mit ihm? They ask you what's going on with you. But what did you do in the world for 120 years besides eating herring and dancing? When it's very bitter, and the person gets bitter because he realizes now the Eilim Be'emes, maybe it wasn't such a good life. But then he has an answer. I was a chassid of such and such Rebbe. The tzaddik b'emunaseh yichya. It says you should live by the tzaddik. The Rebbe takes care of me. If I'm a chassid, the Rebbe, they take care of me. And if you say, did you do what your Rebbe told you? You say, you're a chassid, right? Meishiv, he says, the Rebbe should lead us in the brachas. What do you mean? The Rebbe just gave me brachas. He gave me blessings. Normally, I should keep the Torah mitzvahs. Shir believe the Torah, Shammai shiurim. Of course I didn't. So I went to shul every day. I kept Torah mitzvahs. I kept kosher. I had my shiurim. But when the Bezdin continues to ask, the heavenly court continues to ask, what about knowing God? What about learning things about getting deeper, getting spiritual, getting out of your material routine? It's a piece of Merkava. Did you try to at least understand the Merkava of Yecheskel, the chariot? Meshiv in Doni, I learned in my school of thought, of rabbis, they taught us, all I have to is believe. I learned off the belief of my Rebbe. My Rebbe has to do all that, all the studying about God and all the Dalik Vicha and all the long Krishma and all that, all the Ruchnius and all the spirituality. That's the Rebbe's job. He just tells me to do Torah mitzvahs and to learn and have a shiurim. He gives me brachas, kashmis. That you have any questions, he diverts. Go to ask my Rebbe. But Moni Yesh, then I have of course belief in my Rebbe. Limduni, and they also taught me Gam Shein Dosh Ma'is Merkava. Not supposed to think too much. Don't think about the Merkava, don't ask too many difficult questions. But my gracious, like it's brought on the Rambam, I did what it says. It says you're not supposed to think too much. I didn't think too much. Whenever I saw the word Atzilus, which is already talking about a world that's out of my pay grade. But last time I heard about Tzimtzum contraction. Kav with the line, I ran away like a bow from an arrow. Runs it like the arrow runs away from the bow, right? I took it. That's not my pay grade. It's not for me. It's above my pay grade. The mufla means something that's great. It's greater than me. I have a munah. I have at least kind of a kind of a munah. Should I call Yisrael him aminim b'nei aminim? Because every Jew believes. But Prat Adas Chassidim, especially, he's a chassid. He's for the chassid. Bei sei is doch nicht shaykh zu sagen, was divrei Rabbi Chaim heim bekum v'asev heim v'shevat tasei. The Rebbe told me to do, and Rebbe told me not to do. I didn't do. Harei gama kol gan eden v'elam haba ena maspik avori. So when it comes to the heavenly court, on paper, he's right. What do you want? He has a tzaddik. His tzaddik told him to do. Tzaddik told him not to ask any questions. His tzaddik told him, I got a munah covered for you. His tzaddik told him, don't have to get too stressed out. His tzaddik told him, eat kugel and dance and learn Torah. And no one's saying chas v'shalom negative. It's a full life as a yid. Right? Good. Straight up to heaven. Being the chassid Chabad, we'll finish already this part of the talk. When it comes to Chabad Chassid, the Frierdiker Rebbe says the situation is a lot different. Shneis the Rebbe, and he has to go to the Rebbe. How do you nidchav? In Chabad, there's no special places, so you get pushed around. You don't push to try to get shrine because in Chabad we don't grab shrine. The man the Chashmei, who doesn't even grab shrine? It's not the way we do things. We don't grab leftovers of the food of the Rebbe. The Shmiyas Amayim, you're just trying to hear the Rebbe's long hour and a half of Maimer if I bring him. Well, the Palmin Miroiva Techifas, and because there's a lot of pushing, Koshla the Shmoy, love and his Maimer, it's hard for you to concentrate because you're being pushed. I've been there, done that. The years that I was a Bachar by the Rebbe. Sipuli Yehudi Echa, the Rebbe says, the Rebbe's not going off the topic for a second, off the story. He says, the Rebbe says that he himself heard from someone, someone who's a non-Lubavitch Chassid. Oil Mishra means a worldly person as opposed to a specific Chabad Chassid. He once went to Lubavitch. I'm assuming Lubavitch to the city Lubavitch. They pushed him so much when the Maimer was being said. You only heard the first opening question of the Rebbe. He couldn't hear anything else because they're pushing him too much. As Panim HaMaimer lo heaven, the depth of the Maimer, the inside, he couldn't understand. It was above it. The Likras had tears at the end, but I guess it was the Rebbe Rashab answered the Maimer. Is there showing given in Gansen Sukvetch? He was ready being thrown around like a rag in a washing machine. Kinira, and the Rebbe says basically he understood from the person telling the story of Shavi how he was dressed. Yadumihu, the Chassidim that were there knew who he was. He especially gave him extra pushes around. They made him go. They put up the dial on the spin. Litay mashu iber machen die hearts to eat something after the Maimer wasn't possible. Why? Because in Chabad, after the Maimer, there's Chazara. You have to go. There's a Chazara, a repeat of the Maimer, that the Chassidim would repeat it amongst themselves. And then you have daven. Lacher Maimer v'Chazara. Tefillah b'richas, and they davened long. It's also Kabbalah at least a little bit. He gave kvar zman tefillas mincha, went straight into mincha. The kach over. I love kol Shabbos and the whole Shabbos. And what happened at the end of the episode? He was worn out. I took vegetables. He was squeezed. When I hungry care and he was hungry. They had nothing to walk away with. They didn't even know what the Rebbe was talking about. Okay, there's saying a side note. There's this achakach. Now he walks into the Rebbe's going back to the chassid. So the chassid is being pushed around. There's no sharaim. He's hungry. He's trying to hear the maimer for an hour and a half. He can't hear anything. Then he goes into the Rebbe. He's embarrassed to ask the Rebbe for physical, material things because the Rebbe, you're talking about the ruchnis. Parnasa, Bas Begeres, his livelihood, with a daughter that needs to get married. The Rebbe was talking about such great things that are, how could you be petty with worldly things? Talking about the world of Atzilus, beyond Atzilus. How is he going to take the time of the Rebbe to establish that his wife is not giving him peace because they don't have enough food. They can't buy meat for Shabbos. And all they can eat is cheap bread, like dog bread, is cheaper bread. You can't buy any more on credit from the supermarket, from the Makolet, because he owes too much money. He's being hit from every side by his creditors. Rebbe, what's he asked the Rebbe? They're not going to ask about Kashrus. He's asked the Rebbe to give him a little Avos Hashem, give him a little years Hashem. Doesn't feel like he's feeling it spiritually. Kabbalah soul, he should be stronger in his Kabbalah soul, accepting the yoke. He should be able to daven without thoughts disturbing him. Hergish, Mevorchim Chassidus, he should have a connection to Chassidish words. That's what he asked the Rebbe. Rebbe knows the brachas avakasha said, "Hey, look." So he asked. That's what he gets answers. The Rebbe tells him how to have Avos Hashem and brachas on Yiras Hashem and Kabbalah Soul, and to have a hergish and a chassidish vort, to have a feeling of chassidish vort. But then now he has to go home and tell his wife about that. So he goes home. The wife asks, because she knows that if the Rebbe gives bracha, it's going to help. What did Rebbe say about our parnasa, our financial situation? About did he bless us to be able to have money to pay a dowry for our daughter? Avur basa begeres for the older daughter. Well, Meishav, he says, in honesty, because I didn't speak to the Rebbe about that. I spoke to the Rebbe about Avos Hashem Yiras Hashem. He moed this Avos Hashem Yira. I waited to tefillah how to daven labeled boom without interruptions. And I asked the Rebbe actually to help me. I should be able to daven without having to think about financial problems. I moved me Elav, so the Rebbe says it's self-understood. He got a good, a good. Her response wasn't positive. Let's put it that way. Alasar on the spot. Look straight to the Rebbe when he wants to go next year to the Rebbe. So by the Chassidus, she's making him cakes and herring. His wife says, Shemutiv, she asks her, why are you going to the Rebbe? Rent yourself out as a chazan, hire yourself out as a chazan, at least you make a few rubles. Shama should be a psagabai. You start a room and you get a few rubles. She says, I don't want to let you go. You come back, it doesn't help, doesn't pay the bills. And surely she's not going to give him any food for the road. So he has no menucha. So the life in this world ain't fun. Physically, I'm not talking spiritually. This is all the description that I was telling over from the Friedrich Rebbe. Well, after 120 years, he comes to the world, to the next world. He said, who are you? He goes, what kind of chassid are you? And he says with confidence, What do you mean? I'm a chassid, I'm a Chabadnik. So the heavenly court says, if that's the case, I'm Sicha Lishon, I said, you continue to ask him, what does the Chabad mean? Why is this chassid called Chabad? Sure, I know. It means Chachma Bida Das, wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And they ask him, what does that mean? So he says, it's not enough to just believe. Which is only encompassing, you can't internalize it, you can't bring it in pneumius. You have to really understand God. So that's the case, say, give him a test from Chassidus. I mean, if you're a Chassid Chabad, it means Chacham in Das, it's not just Amunah, and you have to know Chassidus, so they give him a test. And then maybe he doesn't do so well in the test. And he's quiet. Maybe Rebbe didn't teach you. Maybe that's why you don't know. Maybe he didn't demand from you that you should know Chassidus. The Rebbe is hinting, you have to know Chassidus. The Rebbe didn't ask. Yes, sure, the Rebbe taught me. The Rebbe demanded from me. Shemati Maimer Echad, V'oid Maimer, V'oid Maimer. I heard one Maimer, another Maimer, another Maimer. Even if I couldn't go to the Rebbe because I couldn't get there, I didn't have the money to pay for a ticket. But the Rebbe didn't give up. The Rebbe sent me the money. So then the heavenly court says, what's going on? So why don't you know Chassidus? Well, moving Me'elim, mine has to say for them, that says, so what's going to say? He has no Elam Hazard, he has no Elam Hazard, no Elam Haba. You're going to be like, what kind of Chabad Chassid are you? You call yourself a Chabad Chassid, you can't even say a word for Chassidus. You can move, if the Kani Shal Hashal, so ask the question. Ein emes shekedai ha'mechav b'shvil hadas. I get it that it's worth the pain to have understanding. Yosef das, Yosef mechav. Like it says, the deeper you understand something, the more it's painful. I get that. What happens if you just have the pain, you don't have the knowledge? Right? If the chassid doesn't come, if the chassid comes in, okay, fine, I had a horrible life, whatever. I had to deal with all the pressures and everything, but at least I had something to show. So the Rebbe says, what's the point of all the pain and suffering? You have nothing to show for it. If at the end of the day you're still not learning Chassidus, you can't even pass the heavenly test. So what's the whole point of it? And here the Rebbe says this is what it means to be a Chabad Chassid. It's a deep question. It's a real question. And here's the answer. But my knowledge is the answer is you have to do what you have to do. And you're going to get help from above. That's the eventually, you're going to get to the emes and you get to the truth. Okay, and you know what? I know we're going over our time here. We're just going to finish this till the next sif. It's taught by the Alter Rebbe's teaching the Torah. We find two types of obligations when it comes to studying Torah. I feel a person could learn just one little bit of law in the morning, one little law in the evening, that's enough. There's even more than that. Even if you say the Shema, that itself is the mitzvah of not forgetting Torah. On the other side, but then we find, like we learned last time, A person should learn Torah a whole day. That's our Chilul Torah Yom G'lai. You have to learn Torah day and night. Lo Yomish Sefer Torah Zemi Picha Dvarim Kiksavim. You have to push it, learn not because he's saying Shema. You have to push it, learn 24/7. So how is it possible? Whatever. When as long as you're not sleeping or eating. And Shekol Misha Afilu She'efshali L'Chayiv L'Asik B'Torah Yom G'lai. If you can, you have to learn Torah day and night. V'Yim Efshali L'Asik B'Torah Ve'Ein Isaac. And if you can learn and you don't learn, I love the Rosh Chazal. Then the Razal told us, Ki Devar Shem Biza. You've hakaris tekaris. You've shamed the word of God. You should get cut off. But if you can't learn, if it's out of your abilities, whether it's you can't understand or because Hashem said it so that your life is structured so that you can, and you can't with an MS. Because you have to learn, because you have to feed your family, you have to work, and your work gives you very limited time to learn. Then you could only learn a little, then you could be yaitz with a little bit. But if you can't learn and you don't learn, then you get punished. Because you did everything you can. God will fill the gap. God's going to fill the gap what you could have accomplished had you been able to learn day and night. So to the Rebbe says over here, I get it that maybe not everyone's reached the level where you could reach in your knowledge of Chassidus and knowing God through Chassidus. You're not holding about the higher level of God, of spiritual unification, of godly unification. Like we've learned many times, the difference in Yichud Eloi and Yichud Tata is Yesh Misha'ayim, totally batal b'Metzias, batal b'Mahus. You tried as much as you could. Therefore, it's not just the pain without the knowledge. If you put the pain in and the pain is real, and that's the max pain, maybe Hashem will take care of the rest. This is what it means that the source of life at the end, of light at the end, the luminary, brings you back. You always have to learn. More Shabbat by Deza Yakil Saif the Shlem Sayarats, you're going to get to where you have to be. All right, I'll finish before Shabbos the rest of this talk. Have a wonderful rest of your day and good Chodesh.